Intel is back. The old Intel is now the new Intel. This was a statement made by the brand new CEO just yesterday that got investors excited because he came with this enthusiastic swagger that Intel investors are just not accustomed to. Plus an endorsement from a major CEO out there that I just don't see endorsing just anybody willy-nilly unless they believed in the plan, but more on that in a minute. The new CEO made an announcement yesterday and that share price popped. But how much pop does the beat up Intel still have left in it? They've had some issues over the past year, but is Intel now a buy? And where do we see that share price jumping around to over the next few months? We're going to talk about all that stuff in this video, and make sure you stay tuned till the very end where we go over what that share price is going to be and we take a look at those financials. And I apologize for my voice. My allergies are killing me right now with springtime coming, so I am so congested right now. I know I probably sound drunk right now. I don't even know. And while you're at it, scroll down just a little bit to the description. There's a list of links that I use for my financial tools. I use these on the daily and they help me to make and save money. These are things that I endorse 100% and things that I think you could find value in as well. Intel, ticker symbol INTC, is currently sitting, and I'm making this video after hours, so the market is currently not open, but they are sitting at $65.50. They have a dividend yield of 2.19%, which equates to around $1.39 annually. Most of you probably already know the name and know the company Intel and what they do. So I'm not going to go into this thesis of just who they are and why you should know them. Most likely you use their stuff or have in the past all the time, whether it's in your desktop, laptop, cars, whatever. You have used their processors and semiconductors in every facet of your life, whether you know it or not. Even for me, on my laptop is a sticker, and I see this every day, and it reminds me that in my computer I have an Intel Core i9 9th generation processor. Intel is not some startup. These guys have been around since 1968, and fun fact, real quick, this is my fun fact for the day, they were able to open their doors up with $2.5 million given to them by Arthur Rock. If you don't know who that is, he is the one that coined the term venture capitalist. Just so you know. Through the years, Intel has found enormous success as being one of the biggest chip makers in the business. They have been able to continuously just make more powerful chips, but make them smaller. They've been innovative. So with innovation, like you'll hear me say all the time in my videos, comes revenue and comes success. However, over the past few years, they have been getting tougher competition from companies like AMD. Even last year, they continued to get beat up on production and manufacturing issues, although they were still beating earnings expectations, but that share price still pushed down more and more in an already roni beaten up market. And high-profile companies like Apple broke off their relationship after 15 years of Apple using Intel chips in their desktops and laptops. They cited production issues as just one of the problems. When a company like Apple comes out and says that they are done with a company and cites some issues with that company, people are going to listen, and that is 100% going to affect that company's share price. Fast forward a little bit to now, and we have companies like Ford shutting down plants because it can't find computer chips. The majority of chip production is now happening in Asia, and in fact, there's a global shortage of semiconductor chips. Well, Intel decided they were not just going to roll over and die, and they began to make some moves. And those moves started with a brand new CEO just a couple months ago. This is the old CEO just left last month officially, but the share price jumped on that announcement and has been pushing up ever since. Pat Gelsinger is Intel's new Chief Executive Officer. The more I listen to this guy and hear him speak in interviews and speeches, the more I'm liking him. He's got a smart guy, enthusiastic, optimistic type of swagger, a go big or go home attitude, which is exactly what I think Intel needs to reinvigorate this company. Gelsinger laid out a plan for revitalizing the company this past Tuesday. That plan will involve more outsourcing to the company's chip manufacturing rivals over the next couple of years. But it also includes a significant boost to Intel's own production capabilities, which will include $20 billion being poured into new chip fabrication facilities at the company's Arizona campus. It will also include Intel once again getting into the business of making chips designed by other companies. Gelsinger said, "We are back with a vengeance." And on Tuesday, he went on to say that this is the Intel strategy, period, full stop. It does not depend on a penny of government support or state support or any other investments to make it successful. And that he believes the foundry market could be worth $100 billion by 2025. Now check this out. Intel has suggested there is big demand for foundry services from the American tech side. I'm talking Qualcomm, IBM, Cisco, Amazon, and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, CEO of one of the biggest companies on the planet, even appeared in a short video to endorse the plan laid out by Intel. To me, that is a big deal. After the year that Intel has had, I just don't see Satya Nadella, a CEO of his stature, coming out and endorsing Intel and their plan if he did not believe that it could actually work. I don't see him putting his name on anything that's not going to be successful. Gelsinger also said that they were not going to abandon their roots of designing and manufacturing chips, but also they wanted to keep the majority of production in-house. The company is also renewing efforts to make chips for others and targeting customers such as Apple to win that business back. The new production uptick is going to take some time. This is going to be a long-term process. The construction, from what I'm reading, is not even going to start until 2024. So this isn't something that's going to happen tomorrow, but there is a plan for the future and a way to address the global shortage, especially in the United States, of semiconductors. Intel currently has a market cap of nearly $267 billion, although I think that's going to go up soon. They have a beta of 1.23 and a PE ratio of 12.85, which I do like in this sector. For comparison's sake, AMD has a cap of around $98 billion with a PE ratio of 38.53, and their beta is slightly higher at 1.48. Their revenue is still climbing steadily, and they seem to be managing their debt well. Because of this new excitement, people really don't know what to think yet. There's a lot of people going, is this for real? So there's a lot of analysts out there that are still just saying hold instead of buy, but I have a feeling if they can start putting out some better news and start going in the right direction for a company like Intel, it will just take a little bit to turn those holds into buys, into strong buys. But some folks are buying in right now and think that Intel has a bright future. In fact, you can see here that there are some price targets already floating around that people think that they could hit $85 just over the next few months. For a while now, I have been bearish on Intel. I thought they were a dwindling company, although they have over 100,000 employees. But I thought they were just getting passed by by other competitors. But now I'm getting a little more bullish. I really like the CEO. The fact that Microsoft CEO whom I really respect, came out and endorsed them. They're doubling down on the plants, and they're trying to address the problem that they're having. They're going to reapproach major clients like Apple in the past to try to win their business back. They're seeing interest from other companies like Amazon and others. But I think there's a lot there. And this company they're so solidified. They've been around since the 60s. They've been and still are one of the biggest chip makers in the world. They just needed a new swagger, a new energy to come through that I think could take them right back to where they were before. I think we can see new all-time highs coming out of Intel. We can see that share price over the next couple of years be well over $100. They're still doing well on their earnings, and those revenues are still ticking up. I think there's a lot to be excited about for Intel. To me, I would go ahead and rate this a buy at these prices because I could see them 100% ticking up even more over the next few months, especially if this new CEO keeps coming out with good news, keeps bringing excitement to investors. I can see this thing continuing to go up, so I would rather get in Obviously, I wish we could have got in back in January and December when it was $47 per share, but hindsight 2020. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you think that share price is going to be. I hope those stocks continue to tick back up at some point and get into the green. I know I've been having some red days myself, and I hope all you guys out there can stay safe out there and have a wonderful new spring.